Hey, hey, hey! Welcome in today's experiment. While me, Yegwen, not working. I am, yes, that's working. I am casting in English, first time in my life as an experiment, so I'm open to your opinions, I'm open to your thoughts, just let me know what you think. Now, let us get to game number 2. Today we are casting best of 7, which means we are casting the best 7 games of last week, and well, the previous 5 were quite good. I must say I'm really impressed with these games, so I'm just anxious to see what will happen in these games. We have yet another Protoss versus Terran, and as Terran, the proud race of Terrans from Koprul sector will be represented by Marine King Prime, which is a legend and a name for himself. And in the other corner of the Daybreak map, we have WhiteRa, a red Protoss, a guy well known for special tactics, and the question is, will he be able to take Marine King Prime? You see, WhiteRa is one of the oldest players that there are on the StarCraft scene, so he's just old. He's one of like a grandpa WhiteRa. That white means he has a white beard. That's how old he is. No, but being serious, he's like 32 years old, and in StarCraft 2 community, being a player, that's one of the oldest players that exist and are still active on the scene. So it will be interesting. Will he be able to beat Marine King Prime? WhiteRa is well known for something he calls special tactics, which means he just comes off with surprising tactics, with surprising strategies to show to his opponent while doing something extremely different in the background, and thus he is able to win the games. But will he be able to pull it off against someone as good as Marine King Prime? Marine King Prime is one of the best renowned players in the world. In the Korea, he has been a multiple champion of Code S in GSL. He has won most of the major tournaments in the world, so he's just one of the best out there, and one of the fastest, one of the more agile. He has a better multitasking, he thinks faster, he acts faster, he's a bloody Terminator, that's what he is. And the question is, will he be able to be beaten by WhiteRa? That's a really tricky question, and me personally, since I'm not as young as these guys playing, at least Marine King Prime, me personally, I would really love to see WhiteRa winning, WhiteRa taking a win to home, but the odds of that happening are just a little bit low. But we'll see in the game. WhiteRa has beaten all of them, well, most of them, if not all of them. So if someone can do it, that will be WhiteRa. We can see he has a little bit delayed warp gate research. Instead, he goes for a faster Stalker. I'm not really sure what is he about here. This fast Stalker will really delay his warp gate technology. Marine King Prime, on the other hand, he has just only 1 barracks and takes 2 expansions. Now that's a really ballsy move. Is he that much certain of what he's doing? Is he that much skilled that he'll be able to take WhiteRa with taking 2 extra bases in the background? Not so sure. I wouldn't be so full of myself, but yeah, he's Marine King Prime, and he didn't earn his name just by playing standard. So we can expect great things from this game, and we'll just see how it goes. WhiteRa will be having his expansion nearly ready. Marine King's Prime expansion is already ready. How weird does that sound? Already ready, sir. Do you imagine Marine saying already ready? I must copyright that. Anyway, WhiteRa is trying to push his way forward with a Stalker. You don't do that to kill anything, you just do that for scouting. And oh, I was said it's not Stalker, it's Stalker. Alright, so a Stalker. Ooh, Marine King Prime has a good chance of damaging this Stalker, and well, you do that kind of a push just to check what the opponent has in front of his base, what he's going for, and the main fact remains that Stalker has a regenerating shield, so you can regenerate your shield and get back to attacking, and that doesn't cost you anything unless, of course, you lose the Stalker, which is the worst that can happen in this scenario. WhiteRa has gone for 3 gates, okay? The warp gate technology is nearly done, but we don't see any sneaky proxy pylons except this one, but I wouldn't call it proxy. It's just something he has to be protected from drops. So we don't see any sneaky pylons. We just see WhiteRa playing quite an ordinary game. Now we have a Twilight Council finish. We have charge lots. Wow, a really quick charge lot upgrade alongside with a forge, and that will probably start off with doing the armor upgrade. That's what most processors go for, at least. Right, and the question is, what is, if any, WhiteRa's plan for this game? He has he needs to have a plan for victory. As you can see, Marine King Prime is really extensively using his units, his workers and his mules to collect as many resources as he can. He has more of an income than WhiteRa has, even though WhiteRa took a faster base. Oh, and WhiteRa takes another base, which is actually a good decision by him right now. He just needs to be careful for any drops, and thus, well, that's a really nice Stalker. If Marine King Prime tries to scout the 3rd base, he'll be instantly shot by the Stalker here, and that's a really good map control shown by WhiteRa. I'm really impressed by this move. Marine King Prime is starting off with building a wall in front of his base, which is just okay. You may or may not use it against Charge Zealot. That's actually quite useful. Against Stalkers, not so much, but we'll see. Marine King Prime is famous for having one of the best micro with his bioball units in the world, and you can just, well, he gets to a point where he probably doesn't play that much of any different strategy, so you can safely bet, alright, that guy will be most likely going for bioball. But he plays this bioball so good that it's nearly impossible to beat him even if you know that, alright, he'll be going Marines Marauders. So what? He's so good with Marines Marauders, he's just so good, he can beat anyone, even if they know what to expect. Now WhiteRa is going for fast upgrades. We already have an armor upgrade finish. Yep, we have an attack upgrade coming down now. More and more of gateways. That's okay. Will WhiteRa trying to close this game really fast with some awkward timing? Is this one of his special tactics? He's going for a lot of zealots. He has some sentries, but not that many, considering how much of an army Marine King Prime has. They are both equal in the supply. Marine King Prime took the 3rd base. He thought, alright, my opponent didn't attack me, so he probably went for his 3rd base as well, and that's a very good judgment call. Marine King Prime is on the offensive right now. WhiteRa will need to do a very good job protecting here. He warps more and more zealots with charge. That's really good, but the attack will come just seconds before. Wow, the attack comes just before the concussive shells are finished, so that is a real big disadvantage for Marine King Prime, and WhiteRa has just a small problem because not all of his upgrades were finished. The +1 is just finishing off now, and it looks like WhiteRa was just barely able to hold this and push the enemy back. Now the most smart thing he could do at this point in time is to go for an attack here with all of his units, which he probably might just do. That would be fantastic, but oh, that poor bloke just got cut in half. Yeah! Now WhiteRa has many zealots, which he needs at this point of the game. I think Marine King Prime lost that previous engagement, mainly to the fact that his concussive shells upgrade wasn't finished for the time being. And if you're one of the new StarCraft players and you don't really know how this all works yet, so don't be worried. Concussive shells is something that allows you to slow down the enemy. If it shoots your enemy with Marauder, then the enemy unit gets slowed down by 50%, is it? Let me just check. Well, it's not 50%, it's temporarily. Alright, it can be temporarily. Alright, and another very good wall by Marine King Prime. You can notice how he really likes to build his walls next to his expansions. That allows him for very good protection against Protoss and Zealots. Now, see how all of these Zealots are choked in a very very tight spot while Marine King Prime can take. Ooh, what a mistake! He didn't pull down his supply depots, and now WhiteRa, even though he's being chased out of Marine King's Prime base, he did well. He was quite dangerous for the time being. Now the question is, very nice attack by WhiteRa. He does additional damage with just a couple of zealots. He tries another engagement here, and he might even try a couple of ghosts. No, but very good EMP from Marine King Prime, and just barely enough to defend himself against this force. And WhiteRa isn't looking that good anymore. Marine King Prime with superior control over his units, and that was something to look. That was something to watch. Now, there are so many zealots going in the direction of Marine King Prime's base, and it seems he'll be able to do pretty much good damage. Now the problem is he may as well be sniped by these units. Yep, he may go for Ghost. If he goes for Ghost, that will be really good. No, but lots of snipes used just to get rid of the zealots as soon as possible. Marine King Prime showing some very smart control. He just loses a couple of these workers, and WhiteRa has just wasted a plethora of his supply, a plethora of his resources for this attack that didn't do that much of a damage. Another zealot lost, but that was a scouting zealot, and the question is what WhiteRa will do. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I could say, but because well, WhiteRa is ahead in the research, but he's not so ahead in terms of supply. But the interesting thing we see him doing is he has, here are you hiding? He has 3 robotic facilities going 3 colossi at the same time. Now that can either work extremely well if he defends the next incoming attack, or can work really crappy if he doesn't. So it all depends on how much of a defense will he has. This colossi count is really impressive, having in mind that opponent doesn't have any Vikings. But with just pure colossi, you don't get the job done. So you need a lot of support units for that. All right, so we'll be having 3 more colossi and a big engagement in front of us. And will there be yes, there are very nice force fields. So cutting the army in half, and the colossi are doing just so much damage, and they even ignore the enemy trying to snipe them down. Some of them do go down, but most of them survive, and they do get rid of a superior army of Marine King Prime. So that's a really bold move by WhiteRa, going for these 3 colossi at once, and that was one of his famous special tactics that he served us here, right on a silver platter. We also have 3 Dark Templars that may probably want to go for Ghost, but they also want to split to force as many scans as possible from his enemy, and that's really good. WhiteRa is doing a real good job defending and harassing. The Dark Templars are inside the Marine King Prime's base right now. He just lost 1. There are 2 more or 3 more to go. How many more? 3 more Dark Templars to go to be sniped. Oh, that was a miss micro of one of the Dark Templars, but there is still 1 alive doing some damage somewhere, someplace. I don't really know where. Yeah, here it is. Here's our good bloke. Hello. We'll be watching you for a second. I hope you don't mind. Let's see if he tries to take that base off. No, he may just want to wait for the workers, and of course he's trying to sneak away, sneak around the army of Marine King Prime, but of course he'll be controlling that so well. And WhiteRa even taking additional nexus. Now the problem is, even though WhiteRa has a drop of zealots coming into Marine King's Prime direction, he doesn't have that much of an army. So if Marine King Prime tries to attack, you see how smart WhiteRa's move it was right now. By using these Dark Templars, that was a small investment. He couldn't make that off into his army, but he didn't. He invested these minerals into minerals and gas into making another expansion and into forcing his opponent to stay in base. If Marine King Prime would go for an attack right now, that would be the end of WhiteRa. Now, Marine King Prime wasn't able to go for an attack. He doesn't have that much energy, and he's wasting energy all time long just to keep these Dark Templars away. And WhiteRa is starting to mass his units again, thanks to superior economy at this point of the game. So that's a really good move by WhiteRa, just feeling the general sense, okay, I will be much weaker right now. Oh, one of the Colossi is out of position, but that's okay. WhiteRa saved him, and we will have a big engagement. A very good position for WhiteRa since the opponent is surrounded in the middle of the field, and we'll see how this goes. There are too many Colossi, I'm afraid, for the Marine King Prime to be able to deal with them. Yes, and his army melts so fast. So WhiteRa may be able to take this game if he just hangs out here for a little bit longer. And Marine King Prime checks, yes, he has a base here. That's not too good for me, is it? And also we have a Zealot here just going for destroying the missile turret. Why would he not do that? And WhiteRa going with a huge set of Colossi towards his opponent's base just to finish the game off. Now, will Marine King Prime be able to find out a nice tactic here? Or is it special tactics that has won and saved the day for Europe? We'll see in a second. Well, is Marine King Prime? Yes, he is preparing, but he doesn't have that much to prepare with, and it looks like he'll be probably crushed by WhiteRa in this engagement. Very nice. We have even Manor Mules dropped in the middle of WhiteRa's army. GG by Marine King Prime, and WhiteRa takes the game just by the pure use of his fantastic ideas and special tactics. He was able to hold off Marine King Prime. Marine King Prime, for the bigger part of the game, he had more supply than WhiteRa did. What Marine King Prime just had to do was go and kill off WhiteRa, but no, WhiteRa forced Marine King Prime into defensive mode, allowing himself time for taking additional expansion and just massing these Colossi, and he had just barely enough support to make these Colossi live, and thus he was able to push Marine King Prime back and won the game eventually. So that was the second best game of this evening. Now we should be all really excited into going to game number 1, the best game released last week, and we'll see what that will be in just a second.